Joe's partnered with Movember to urge guys to pick a mate and have a proper chat. To provide some inspiration, we've sent some local sports stars off rucking to lighten their load.
Yes, Niall.
Hop in, buddy.
Where's the phone?
You know what we're doing today?
Bit of rocking.
Rocking for November.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually, I think is there a stone down there by your foot there somewhere?
Somewhere is it?
Have a look there. What's it say?
It says, are you okay?
Jesus.
Am I okay? Yeah, good. I'm good and the people around me are good. And that's what I find. See, if I'm good, people around me are good.
Yeah, I'm good. There's a lot going on at the minute now. I'm very busy. Lots on with football and work and stuff, but similar to you actually. I have a good little network of people there around me at the moment that I'm sort of bouncing stuff off.
Would you be like, see if somebody like generally, like not strange or something, but people in your life? Would there be people in your life that would say to you, "Well, now how are you getting on? Are you okay?" Blah blah. And you would choose not to bounce stuff off a share with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There'd be certain things that I would be a little bit more guarded with, not from my own perspective. So I wouldn't be guarded because I'd be worried about me, but I'd be guarded if I might be through for a burden for them. So I suppose I've done a lot of work with, I suppose, just figuring out, and just basically finding people that I would trust in the sense of being able to open up and being able to share stuff with. But again, that's, we'll probably speak about it a bit later. So how about you then, just in terms of people?
No, I suppose the one for me is when you're saying about, are you okay? I suppose a lot of times, not really, like, I was never aware of whether I was okay or not. I just, as far as I was concerned, you just ploughed on and got through things. And it was only when I, again, not to overdo the treatment thing, but only when I actually went to treatment, and it was almost like I stepped outside my own life and had a look in at what my life was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And when I looked in at the person that I was becoming, I didn't like that. And I realised that it wasn't okay. And when I realised it wasn't okay, then something had to be done about it.
You know what I used to be terrible for years ago?
Kick 'em wide.
No.
Mr. Freeze.
Let's not be ridiculous now.
Penalty.
Hey, if we're going to start talking about penalties, you went too far. If you're going to start talking about penalties now. I used to be I didn't realise at the time either, self-sabotage. So things in my life actually might be going reasonably okay, and then I got, this doesn't feel right. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve this sort of bit of happiness or this bit of luck or this bit of whatever I'm getting. So what can I do now without really realising what I was doing? But I'd start just chipping away at some, it could be a relationship or it could be something. And I just start just eroding it away or causing hassle or causing a problem where there need to be. But it wasn't anything got to do with anybody else. It was always because I wasn't comfortable in myself, feeling that maybe, do I deserve to be happy or do I deserve
self-destruction?
Exactly, yeah. You'd be finding ways then, if something would be going really well, I'd be finding something, how can I alter this or tweak? So even to this day I have to be very, very careful about that. But you driving, it's good, isn't it?
Driving is absolutely horrendous.
I know actually the only...
you mean this driving? I thought you meant your golf. I thought you meant your golf.
I'm not going to ask you to pay for things around, but you might tax the car before we come on, let's go.
The future.
Oh, Jesus, heavy, isn't it?
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, a lot happening is right. A lot happened as well, I suppose. When you're thinking, when you're looking into the future, you're probably thinking of the past a little bit in terms of
Back to the future.
Well, what's gone before, and in terms of where you are now, and then I suppose how it sets you up in terms of moving on into the next part of your life. So I suppose for me, future for me is pretty daunting in a lot of ways in the next few months, I suppose.
You're talking about getting married. That's a lovely way to describe getting married. Daunting.
Well, you know what I mean. There's a lot of change happening, I suppose. For me, personally, over the years, change is a scary thing. Like someone said to you before about moving out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd see with you now. When I see you moving into county management, or I'd see you stepping on into a different experience or a different challenge, I'd say, yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I can understand that. And that's the exciting thing. That's what I was trying to say earlier on about the future. That's exciting, like a bit of hope, a bit of excitement, something to kind of get you, geared up to it. Like.
But like it's different for us now as far as the challenges that we're facing, because the challenges we faced in the past, we would have done it half-arsed, let's face it. You know what I mean? We would have had 1A on, you know, the gambling or whatever it was, and another A on what we were actually doing.
Yeah.
So you're doing a load of things not that well, really. Whereas now, it's, you know, the freedom that you get from getting away from addiction means that you can focus on these things and genuinely just enjoy them.
Well, that was the thing when I would have been into recovery first. I went back into my previous job, and I was in the job for about 18 months, no, maybe more, or less, probably 12 months. But for the 8 months leading into me going in for treatment, like, I was just terrible in the job. Like, I was there every day, always be on time, leave on time, no issue. But like, my mind was just in 200 different places. But I remember going back to that job after going through treatment, and just been bang, razor sharp. Everything was just compartmentalised into, okay, I'm in work, doing my job here, next thing I'm going to train, I'm in the gym, I'm doing this. And it was all just so clear and concise, and I had a plan and a structure, which is, like, as you say, when I was in addiction, it was just, everything was, as you say, half-arsed.
For me, the first thing I have to be, that I have to recognise is that I have to be grateful for having a future. Do you know what I mean? Because of where I was, and...
Do you ever hear people, sorry for interrupting you, do you ever hear people talking about gratitude?
Yeah.
And if you're not in the humour to listen to someone talking about gratitude, you're going,
hard.
Would you ever?
It's like the first time I went into the Gamblers Anonymous meeting, boy told me great things will happen to you when you're here. I wasn't ready, like.
Yeah.
And now I find myself saying to people, great things will happen to you staying here. So,
yeah. But it's funny, I know what you mean, but I know some days, I often say this now, there's 365 days in a year. I would say probably for 320 of those days, everything for me goes relatively smoothly. Like, now that I'm, say, away from gambling or in recovery or whatever, but you still have the 25 odd days. But in those 25, 45 odd days, and those 45 odd days, someone came to me and said, oh, you need to be grateful. Like, oh, would you ever? So for me, like, there are days sometimes that I just need to say, okay, I'm just going to get through this day now.
But you know what you need to think of?
Oh, yeah, gratitude, is it?
No, you need to think about that previously, in your previous life, you had 365
oh, no, I know
days
that. Oh, 100%.
where it was all tits up.
Yeah. No, 100%. No, I get that. And I get that.
But some gratitude now.
Right, that's the future covered. Right, we have a bit more to go, so we'll leave that down there.
Right, now I'll delve in now, see what else we have.
I'm going to put this bottle in here as well, actually, just
because I'm carrying relationships.
I feel that if it's a person that's very, very close to you, and I'm not saying, again, just from my own experience, a lot of times family members or people that are very close to you can try to be fixers.
Yeah.
And then they'll try and solve all the problems.
You're struggling a wee with that.
Struggling with the walk.
No, you're struggling a little bit, are you? So, and relationships are tough if you yourself are not right or not ready for them, you know? And I'm not talking about intimate relationships, I'm talking about relationships in general, families, friends, as you say, teammates. So that's not relationship done, but that's us finished talking about relationship. Okay. We'll leave that there, okay? Last one is Movember.
I remember when Movember came out first, it was about growing a moustache, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It took me about 12 months to grow a moustache.
I do think there are people who are willing to talk about mental health now a lot more than 10 and 15 years ago, but the big thing is, like, it's just making sure that the people understand what it is, and people understand what their own struggles are.
Sometimes when I hear things like mental health, I think, okay, while it's brilliant and it's great that people we're trying to get people to open up and talk about it a little bit more, it kind of becomes, to a point, not necessarily fashionable, but it's a little bit...
It's in vogue, definitely.
Yeah, big time. And I suppose that can sometimes put people off of them.
You just need to recognise which is, like, common issues, problems, and which is, like, mental health. You can put your finger on it and say, listen, you know, I actually need some help for this, and where am I going to go to get that help? Yeah. You know, but even just the Movember thing, and as you talk about the moustaches, and it did create an awareness around it, because people ask, because who has a moustache anymore?
Good point. Yeah.
I actually don't know anybody who has a moustache.
But again, that's another funny thing, actually, and it's completely off topic, but back to this idea of identity and who you are and stuff. Do you ever notice a lot of people go away to a different country and then they do things they always wanted to do.
Yeah, the change. Yeah,
But they do things they want to do,
Yeah.
without the ridicule or the
I even do that when I go on holidays.
oh yeah. That's it. You'd wear things.
Speedos out
You'd
and
wear
all
things
that.
you'd never wear, like.
I'm only joking, I don't wear Speedos.
I was away on holidays before Christmas, and like you'd be trying to let my hair go last year through COVID. Just going around with a ponytail, like. You imagine me walking into a pub on Crossing Glen now with a ponytail on. I'd be dragged out.
I think I met you one day. Remember I met you one day in City North or somewhere, and you had a ponytail.
Yeah.
And I was trying to ring my wife to say, could she ring me to say there was an emergency so I could get away from you?